My stupid old logo. I really need to think about getting a new one. Hello, everyone. This is not Direct to Disaster. Sort of. This is ZC Infinity. I am not Direct to Disaster anymore, and yeah, thank God. Looking back on these projects are a little painful to say the least, but I haven't really been doing much lately, so I figured that the best cop-out would be to re-upload a few videos and do a commentary for a few of them. So the idea for Direct to Disaster emerged around early 2013. I had been familiar with the Nostalgia Critic and all those other online personalities for about 2 years before that, and these guys shaped my life, okay? Just to see these critics, this different view of critics. I mean, my previous knowledge of critics, it was like Siskel and Ebert and all these IMDb reviews, and they were just kind of boring. You know, they're just the normal stuck-up critic who's too focused on being professional. Well, okay, these guys are professional as well, but these guys are fun. Yeah, it's amazing how you can be both informative and a bit of a jackass at the same time. And, oh man, to this day, I still follow a lot of critics. Nostalgia Critic, Cinema Snob, Linkara, Phaelus, Ashens. List goes on, but I'm not going to bore you with that. And so in about early 2013, I really wanted to throw my hat into the ring. I really wanted to become an internet personality myself. So I got... Actually, did I have a hat? I don't think I... No, I think I had the hat back then. I think I had I had the jacket. But yeah, I had the hat and the jacket, and I thought that the name Direct to Disaster really sounded good. Of course, that stands for D2D, and I wasn't aware of Direct to Drive. So if the channel had continued to this day, I'm sure that people would have thought that I reviewed Steam games or something, bad Steam games. So I'm glad that I changed that name. But anyway, I tried to do this whole internet personality thing back in 2013, and I just could not find the time or the location for it. But fast forward about a year, April or May 2014, I don't remember when this was uploaded, somewhere around that time. But the Nostalgia Critic had announced that he's hiring new talent for his channel, so I thought, well, now's a good time as any to throw my hat into the ring and start. Oh boy, was I delusional then. It was a disaster from the start. You know, I ordered all the equipment, all the audio and video equipment that I thought I'd need then, and it didn't arrive until a month after the deadline. But I figured, hey, I have all this stuff, might as well. I mean, you know, it was pretty unlikely that I would have been chosen for the channel even if it did arrive, but I thought that if I got a bit of practice, got my name out there, that, yeah, I could do it. Oh boy, and yeah, like I said, looking back at this, it's amazing how amateurish it looks, just how amateurish I look. I mean, look at me, I am... Can you look any more dumpy? I mean, my shirt is wrinkled and my jacket is wrinkled. My hat is so far on my head that I'm practically bald, and I have these French steward eyes. I don't know if you can really see that, but my eyes are very closed. And obviously, most of the time, I'm just reading the script. The script is right there on the screen. I think I'm reading the script right now in this scene. And oh boy, this scene. Okay, so I had intentionally gotten the stickers dirty so that they would fall off. But even that wasn't enough. They would not fall off, so I had to stick a bit of string on the stickers and gently pull on them to make them fall off. That was actually a little harder than it sounds to do because the string kept falling off the stickers. So yeah, it took 5 or 6 takes, and okay, I said I don't like my old show, but that doesn't mean that it's completely bereft of humor. I really like the scene where I'm just taping the badge onto my jacket. Because what else are you going to do? If the badge does not stick, then time to get out the duct tape. Or the Scotch tape, whatever I was using then. So I believe that it was Spoonie that introduced me to the concept of VCR board games. And I live in a location that has a lot of thrift stores around. Just basically within a 20-mile radius, you can find 4 or 5. And in a lot of those thrift stores, you can find all these VCR board games. And over the years, I have collected so many different ones. I've collected Clue and Star Trek and Star Wars and Spy Quest, Power. Oh, it's been so long. Unfortunately, I don't have my collection anymore. I gave it away a few months ago to make room because it was obvious that I wasn't going to be returning to this show and showing off VCR board games. I don't even have anyone to play them with, so out with the old and with the new. But at the time, I had a lot of different titles. What you see in the background right there, that's only a sampling of what I've been able to accumulate. Unfortunately, I didn't really find anything too valuable. Like, I couldn't find a Rap Rat, and I couldn't find most of the Nightmare expansions, but I had fun with what I had. And let's see, did I? Yeah, I uploaded. Well, I uploaded them all to a channel I had called Past Made Present, and unfortunately that got taken down. I think somebody saved the videos and they said they were going to re-upload them. I really hope that's true. That would be nice. But yeah, this was my hobby for a while. I really loved Spoonie's reviews of these VCR board games, and actually, this part that's
I mean, there's chewing the scenery, and then there's.
Why did they not just put in Gowron? Why did they have to create this other Klingon named I completely forgot now, and I'm watching this on mute, so I don't even remember what his name. But why couldn't they just use Gowron for this board game? I mean, he's basically Gowron playing this character anyway. That's the same actor, so I don't know. Did they not have the rights to Gowron? They had the rights to everything else. They had the set. They had the effects. This is one of the best looking VCR board games right here, Star Trek. That's why I wanted to start with this one, because it's the best. It's the best acted, it's the best effects, it's the best gameplay. Most of these other VCR board games, they're like you draw a card or you react to something on the screen and that's it. You know, it's like Spoonie said, things like Nightmare. Yeah, it's just all those games are really meant to be our party games. There's no gameplay. You're just laughing at how drunk you are and how I'm sorry. I think the Sound of Music part was a last-minute addition because he was quoting all these different guys. There was Humphrey Bogart from Casablanca, and there was Dirty Harry, and there was the Terminator. Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator. All throughout the video, he was just quoting these things. And if you have all those references, then why not just add the Sound of Music? That as you could tell, that was a very bad paint job, a very bad Windows. Microsoft Paint, but you do what you can do with what you got at certain times. And this is my favorite part. Yeah, I had to record this in another room because my bedroom just wasn't big enough at the time, so the camera's a little tilted as well. And if you can tell, I'm overdubbing because I didn't have a good enough microphone to record this, so I had to overdub it a little bit. You can probably tell if you listen. Oh my gosh! Okay, first of all, the effects are done by Bob's show, Rob Thomas. He has a channel about, like 30,000 subscribers now. He is a fascinating reviewer. He's actually one of the guys that got me into reviewing, and he is a terrific model maker and reviewer and editor and effects man, and that was just it was incredible that I could get him to help me out. But of course, back then he only had like 5,000 subscribers, so it was a little easier to talk to him. But I'm still able to talk to him. The metal fell off. I'm still able to talk to him once in a while. Anyway, yeah, the mask. I bought the Klingon mask off of eBay for about $35, and I somehow convinced my grandpa to wear it. And oh my gosh, he does an incredible Klingon voice. That was just basically uncanny what we could do. He put on a white shirt and a black shirt and a bit of a scarf to be a fake Klingon belt. I think that scene went really well. If I could just go back and do something like that, if I could just revive the show and have the Klingons and such with the effects, that would actually be a lot of fun. But as is, I've moved on from there. And with this Gargoyles part, actually, I said that the Gargoyles series was awesome, but this was the only real exposure I had to Gargoyles, just this movie. I've seen a few scattered episodes throughout my childhood when I was a little kid, and I don't know, I wasn't really into it, but now that I'm older, I'm more willing to check it out and see what I missed out. I mean, I've started watching Animaniacs, which was a little before my time, but yeah, I really want to watch Gargoyles based on what I saw here. I just have not had the time to get around to it. And honestly, this is a really interesting thing to make not interesting, but a strange thing to make a VCR board game out of. Why would they put this 20-minute board game at the end of a VHS tape? Why not just make the whole thing and put it in a cereal box or something? Why stick it on the end of the tape? I guess I don't know. VHSs at the time really relied more on gimmicks to sell them. I mean, with the DVD today, everything's included on the disc, or I'm sorry, not DVD today, Blu-ray. We've advanced it quite a bit, haven't we? So, yeah, everything's on the disc, but back then it was like, oh, buy this kids movie and get a free Land Before Time CD-ROM. Buy Alvin and the Chipmunks the movie and get a coloring book. Just they had to really package stuff in with VHS tapes, and Disney went all out and made this video board game. That is that's ambitious. And yeah, and like I said, I found this board game at a thrift store, and amazingly, it had all the pieces. So I decided, why not? Let's just add that on to the list of stuff I'm going to talk about in the video. And and like I said, like I show here, the going through the tunnels is a huge problem in the game, because no matter what you spin on, oh man, the wah, 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 wah. I actually forgot I put that sound effect in there. I thought it was like the wah, 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 wah trumpet. Oh, it's so annoying hearing it now. Where was I? Oh yeah, so going through those subway tunnels was really annoying. It's like the spinner was always pointed to lead you to those squares. So no matter what you do, you will just always... Wow, that was unnatural. But you will always end up outside of the subway, on the other end. You think you have enough time with 20 minutes? Nope. Yeah, you will constantly land on those subways over and over again, and you'll probably run out of time. That last part was ad-libbed. I just had to add something onto, it must be Monday or must be Friday, whatever I said. And I really love this part coming up as well, where I actually say the spell and it reverses. That was actually a little hard to do. I had to remove the board game. I had to kind of make the background to look like how it looked at the beginning of the poof. Did it go back to 4:3 as opposed to 16:9 there? Did I have it in widescreen a second ago? I honestly didn't notice. I don't know why I filmed this in 4:3. it was probably because this was one of my first videos, and I just didn't know that my computer camera could even do that. And what I'm holding right there, that's actually a copy of Back to the Future, because I was just too lazy to take out a VHS from the games. And here we get into typical VCR board game fare. The first two were actual games, and then the Three Stooges, I could never find a copy that had the instructions. So to this day, I don't know what that game was about. But I do know that, well, they included a whole bunch of different Stooge shorts, and they also had the Curly Shuffle from the 70s. So, even if you can't play the game, it's still fun to watch. Kind of wish I could find the actual collections of Three Stooges, but if you can find the VCR board game, that's good enough. And yeah, the audio changed there a little bit, because this was when I actually found out that I could use a Rock Band microphone I could plug a Rock Band microphone into my computer and it would work. I'm actually talking on a Rock Band microphone myself, because these have surprisingly high quality and they're really cheap. So if you can find one of these, then I highly recommend you use these for your YouTube videos, unless of course you're using something even higher quality. But yeah, before this scene, I was just using the microphone on my computer, hence the very underwater muffled sound that's prevalent throughout most of the video. I think I used the microphone later on when I'm doing the Sergeant, but yeah, I didn't even know that I could about the audio quality until the end of recording, when I was actually putting it all together, and I was going, oh crap, I could have just used the microphone, the Rock Band microphone, instead of my computer one. Well. And yeah, I didn't really bother re-recording anything. And actually, a few parts in this video, it sounds like the audio is fading in, like just the first part is cut off. I don't know what that's about. I think that I accidentally did something in Windows Movie Maker, which I was using back then. I think I accidentally did something to make the audio fade in, and I just didn't notice. But I really don't remember. It was a problem in the next few videos as well, and I tried to remedy the audio problem by playing two audio tracks at once. That just made it worse. And then it suddenly fixed itself. I don't know. I really don't know what happened, but I'm glad everything worked out in the end. In hindsight, Rich Little was actually one of the more entertaining VCR board games, because, hey, it's Rich Little. He can do great impressions. It's a lot of fun just seeing him act on this video. In fact, it's really impressive that they could even get him for a VHS board game. Yeah, so that's actually... Oh, rest in peace, Robin Williams. I just did the sign of the cross. I'm not Catholic. Why did I do that? But yeah, if you can find the Rich Little video anywhere, then yeah, I'd really recommend it. And yeah, Eyewitness, that's probably the worst out of the lot, because it's just public domain clips scattered all throughout. There's a few cartoons, there's a few newsreels, there's a few... But it's just public domain stuff with like a line or two from some narrator that's clearly not caring about about what he's saying, he just wants to get a paycheck. And you make the game. You just write down the questions, and if the other guy gets them right, then they win. I could make a game like that right now, okay? Just watch my show and write down a few questions and then ask another guy the questions about my show. Chances are he won't get any of them right because, nobody watches my show. But I digress. Oh boy. I don't remember why I wanted to feature Power, because... like I said, Power is not a VCR board game. It just has VCR instructions. I guess I was just so turned off by... Look at that. Look at the cheapness. It's just a guy sitting right in front of a family and just explaining stuff. like I said, it looks like a cheap infomercial. And by the way, that clip for the diabetes, I think it is, that was actually pretty hard to find back in the day.
Every night, 6 people in the world die from complications of diabetes.
Yeah, the diabetes. So that was actually pretty hard to find. But yeah, I like I said, I could do better than them.
Anybody could do that. I could do that.
Bum ba dum bum 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 ba dum bum. I'm sorry. Yeah, so that uniform was actually my great-grandpa's. My grandmother kept it around. I took off a bunch of the medals and such so it wouldn't feel cumbersome and so I wouldn't be showing too much disrespect. And oh my gosh! What's scary is that actually fits. The uniform fit like a glove. It was perfect for my size. And I know that I still have the same vacant expression on my face, just the same I don't care. I'm obviously reading the script in this way. Yeah, you can see my computer down there. I don't know why my computer's in the frame. I had my grandmother record this, and you can notice the camera move a few times. I don't remember why we had to do that. And the microphone's in my jacket because I just couldn't find anywhere else to put it at the time. But yeah, this was the start of the Sarge character. He appears, I think he only appears once more in the show. He explains a part of the Intellivision, not the Intellivision, the Odyssey 2, that's it. He explains an Odyssey 2 game. And I really wanted to use him as more of a recurring character. You know, he'd just pop up and interact with D2D and just, my idea for him was he's basically a stand-up comic. Only he's a military officer. He doesn't know that he's a stand-up comic. He's trying to keep everything professional, but he just can't stop going off on these tangents, on these really jokey, weird anecdotes of his time in war. He goes on more of a tangent in the Odyssey episode. I really like how I managed to take that retracting, I can't remember what it's called now, just a retracting pointer, I believe. And I managed to actually move the pieces around on the board. That's actually pretty hard to do, believe it or not, because the pieces can be scattered, they can be separated. So that took a few tries to, yeah, like there, the pieces just scattered all over the place when I tried to move them around with that stick. But I think this is one of my favorite scenes in the whole show. This is the scene that I'm really proud of because it's funny, it has music. I thought it was pretty well edited. I mean, you can tell in a few places where I had to go back and re-record some audio, but I was really excited about that character. I would have really liked to have used him. Unfortunately, I don't do live action recording anymore, so I don't know. Maybe I could incorporate him in a Brick Miser sketch. I don't know how that would work as a silent thing. Man, just looking at these old videos it's really making me ponder, and this is the Community scene. I don't know anything about this show. I don't know anything about Community. I just looked up if anything featured a VCR board game, and this was the only thing that came up. I really can't find any other show, at least back when I watched it, that featured a VCR board game. So I'm glad there was something pop culture related to add to my statement that oh my gosh. Oh man, I want to laugh and cry at this so hard. That is my grandfather as the gatekeeper, and oh man, these were the most fun parts to film, because I think that my grandfather made a really fun gatekeeper. I mean, okay, it's about as accurate as Spoonie's portrayal of the gatekeeper, and yes, this is where I ripped that off. So it's not a very good accent and not a very good performance, but oh my gosh, he's just hamming it up. And yeah, I just put a towel on his head and he's just wearing a black shirt, but he was very fun to work with. He kept forgetting his lines, and he kept looking at the camera wrong, but when we got it all together, that was the most fun that I ever had with this show. And I'm so happy that he was able to work with me. Unfortunately, he's not around anymore. He left us. He left this world about a year ago. You see what I mean? Oh man. But yeah, the gatekeeper was also supposed to be a recurring character, but with the brevity of the show, I just really couldn't think of too much to incorporate him into. But I think that with what I did, like I said, we had a lot of fun making these things, and I'm glad that I could use him as much as I could, and I'm glad that he went along with it. And yeah, this first episode was the most fun to make. I did not know what I was getting myself into. I didn't know what I was doing, but I just went along with it, and in the end, it's so cheesy, it's so poorly made, poorly edited, poorly written, but for a start, I don't regret making it, so... Nostalgia. And wow, we're out of time now. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you on the next commentary. Thank you. Signing out.
My God.